Hi there, Suzi. How you doing?
I'm good, Tracy. How are you?
Yeah, really good. I'm really excited to do this. I don't know whether to call it a conversation or video or whatever. It's just whatever people want to call it, really.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's no kind of format with this. We're just going to have a chat.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's when the best things come to light, really. When it's too scripted, it's too restrictive, and we're intuitive beings. That's not what we do.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So we thought we'd just come together to have some chats to help you in your spiritual journey.
Absolutely. And tell us a little bit about you, Susie. I've known you for years, so it's better coming from you than me.
Yeah, absolutely. So I am what I call a soul alchemist. So I help people to really connect into their soul gifts, their soul purpose, their soul mission, and their soul expression to help them to move forwards in life, to transmute the wounds, the blocks, the pain that is holding them back from really living an authentic, fulfilling life. So I use the Akashic records, I use tarot cards, I use essential oils, the moon phases. Depends what my client really needs and where they are in their journey.
Yeah, absolutely. Same here. And, I kind of see myself as a spirit guide on earth. I don't mean that to sound egotistical, but, and you probably find this, a lot of people struggle to communicate with their guides and those they've lost and everything else. And I've collected all of that knowledge over my years doing this and the books I've read, the clients I've worked with. And so I kind of feel like I'm the middleman. So people can come to me and I can help connect them to them and get them the knowledge that they want and the direction and everything else. And like you, I use the Akashic records to help clear the things that are trapped in the soul. I use my tarot cards and I also help people to heal their physical issues using my spiritual coaching. So, like you, I offer various different things because I'm here to help mind, body, and soul. I'm not here to just do the one little bit.
Absolutely. And I think that that's an important point that we need to perhaps address in that we need to heal the whole body, not just one part of it. Otherwise, there's still going to be blockages, pain, whatever it may be that the person is holding if the body isn't dealt with as a whole. So mental, physical, spiritual, the whole things, emotional
Yeah,
as well. I think that's important.
absolutely. And I run a monthly membership development program, as you know. And the amount of times somebody is having a problem doing the spiritual work because there's trapped trauma, whether that's big trauma like being attacked or little trauma like narcissistic relationships or difficult
Mhm.
childhoods. And of course, there's all the spiritual stuff that we bring into this life. I call it past life hangover, because we can bring soul contracts that don't serve us anymore. We
Yep.
can bring trauma from a past life and how we passed, vows and curses, and everything else. So there's a lot that needs to be cleared for us to be able to work spiritually. And so we have to do some house cleaning to be able to do the spiritual work and develop in this life.
Yeah,
Um,
100%.
and I think one of the questions I get asked a lot is a variation on why are we here? What is the point? And not so much what happens when it's all over because people are still trapped in the what is the point, okay? And I think that really people need to understand this whole ascension process because they hear the
Mhm.
word but they don't really get what it is.
I 100% agree. There are so many things that we can hold on to, like you say, from past lives that has a massive impact
Mm.
if it isn't cleared. For me, a lot of women come to me with the witch wound, the priestess wound, and those massive woundings that if you want to connect spiritually to your guides, if you want to run a spiritual business, they're going to have a massive impact.
Absolutely.
So I think for me, Tracy, I've asked the question many times, like, what am I here for? Why? Why so much pain? Why so much trauma? Why so many things happen that kind of stop us from fulfilling this contract that we have in
Mm.
this lifetime?
Yeah, and you know, in my head, I've got that 3-year-old going, "Mummy, how did I get here?" And Mummy's going, "You was in my tummy," and I'm like, "This is like so much bigger than that."
Yeah,
And
100%.
what I will just say is that none of us know everything.
Hmm.
None of us know for certain because
Hmm.
we won't until we get to the other side. But based on the readings that we've done, the studying that we've done, our meditations and everything else, we've got a lot of information. And so if anything we're saying doesn't resonate for somebody, just ignore it. And someone else will give it to you in a way that does resonate for you, or it's just not your truth yet. So, you know, we don't purport to know everything. Just want to clarify that. Um, I mean, my understanding is that we are created from source, whether that's God, source, divine, use whatever word that you want. And we come here to earth because it's tough. So we've picked this to help us achieve what we need to, what we've agreed to.
Mm.
And when we're first created, we are pretty much like the kid at nursery learning one and one is two and ABC. We're
Hmm.
not created as this completely divine, wise entity that knows everything. And so our soul is on a journey and it journeys through multiple lives to arrive at the point where it can go, brilliant, I've ticked all the boxes, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
And that can take like thousands of lives, not just a couple of lives.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, for me, I believe that we create a plan for this lifetime. So we will meet with our guides, spiritual teachers, whoever is right for us, and we'll make a plan for this lifetime of
Mm,
what we want to learn and how our soul wants to evolve.
yeah.
And then as we're incarnated, we forget. Like literally, we forget because if we came here with all that knowledge and wisdom, we wouldn't perhaps grow and expand in the way that we expect. And if
Mm.
we came through with all that knowledge and wisdom, I think maybe our egos would be a little bit much too. Right? So
Yeah.
so I don't feel that the whole soul comes in one go. It comes like in stages. So the soul comes in at birth, but then the knowledge comes in slowly. So 7, 14, 21
Yeah.
years is really, really important for like more of that knowledge to come in. And that's when we can really start to grow and expand and start to almost like lift the veil of the forgetting of what we came here to do. And I think it's important as well that we understand that we don't just have negative lives, we have very positive lives too, right?
Yes.
Because we need both to experience things. So we're not
Mm.
just bringing negative things in with us, or we're bringing in positive things as well. And then as we start to learn and grow and be fully present in this lifetime, that's when we can complete whatever soul contracts we've had, that we've signed up for, whatever lessons we've come here to learn. And like Tracy said, yeah, it could take more than one lifetime.
Oh, absolutely. God, yeah. And you know, I always say it's a little bit like going for a coffee or a drink with someone that you've only just met,
Yeah.
and you can only learn so much in that
Mm.
coffee meeting.
Yeah.
And then you might meet them again a month later and you learn a bit more. You can't get their whole life in one coffee meeting.
No.
And funny enough, I've been with my other half 26 years this year, which I don't understand how that happened, but there you go. And we were out the other day and he was telling a story. And I'm like, I have never heard you tell that story.
Wow.
And I've heard most of his stories multiple times.
Yeah.
So we can't do everything in one life. We can't
Mm.
know everything. And I always say to people about the spiritual stuff, you know, you might be massively into crystals in this life and you might go like mad, like Judy Hall, the author, but you are never going to know everything about every crystal
Mm.
in this one lifetime. So there is no way that you can learn
Mm.
everything about love or everything about mediumship or everything about anything that you can think of because there just isn't enough time.
Yeah,
I,
100%.
I really wish that we would teach kids about spirituality
Mm,
when they're little, even though most people actually don't run circles for kids, which I think is slightly mad. Because if we understood from an early age how it works, A, I don't know about you, but it gave me a totally different perspective on the
mm,
tough stuff.
yeah,
It wasn't, oh, well, you're born, you have a crappy life, and then you die. What
yeah,
was the point of that? So the tough stuff, I kind of see the negatives are actually the best things, and I don't tend to see them as negatives. Even if you have a horrific relationship breakup, if
mm,
you've got a child from that, then that is the point. And
yeah,
what other growth have you had from that person
mm,
being in your life? So to me, everything is a positive. It's how we look at it. Um,
for sure.
and I'm always telling my clients, look back and see what growth you got. What did you learn from having fibromyalgia? What did you learn from that relationship? And even if the only thing you learned was on the first date, my instincts told me to run and I didn't listen, that's your growth. That's your learning. Listen
Yeah.
to the intuition next time and run.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we should say, like, Earth isn't a punishment,
No.
right? It is the biggest way that we can learn and our soul can grow. And
Yes.
everything has a positive outcome. It has a gift that it shares with us. It might feel horrific at the time,
Mm,
but there's growth, right?
yeah.
There's gifts from every experience that we have. We just need to look at what those gifts were. And
Yeah.
if we're stuck in self-pity, self-loathing, and all of those things, it does become very difficult to find
Yeah.
those positive things. And sometimes we just need to take a break and take a step back, right? Because when we're in the midst of all of this hurt, pain, wounding, whatever it may be, it is going to be hard
Mm,
to see what our soul has learned from this. So it's about learning to step back and have a different perspective, have a different view. Like, if you
yeah.
imagine an eagle having that bird's eye view of exactly what's going on in your life, because chances are it's not just that one thing. There's going
Yeah.
to be things linked to that one thing. If you've got a
Absolutely.
negative relationship,
Mm,
then you've probably got more than one,
yeah.
right? In
Yeah.
in friendships and bosses and all of those things. So not easy to do. It takes
No.
practice. It's not something you think, oh, okay, I'm going to have a look, with a different perspective. It is going to take practice. But that's what people like Tracy and I are here to help you to
Mm.
do.
Yeah. And, that's interesting because we had a little catch up before we started recording this. And we were talking about retreats and having the space to process things that have happened to us and to understand them. And, this is exactly what we're talking about because we're so busy all the time doing stuff. And we need people like you and I to be able to help us to get that view and to process and look back. And, you know, I can look back now, I'm 52. I can look back and I can see the whole linear journey of my difficult upbringing and couldn't wait to get away from home. And I left home at 17 and a half. I always say my parents ran off to Yorkshire from Buckinghamshire and I ran off to Kent and my partner. Now, if I'd have stayed in Norfolk where I grew up or in Buckinghamshire with my mum, I doubt that I would be doing what I'm doing now because my dad just wasn't into this. And although there's a huge spiritual tribe in Norfolk, I just would not have been plugged into it. I grew up in a tiny little village in the middle of nowhere. Um, and I just think I would have had a totally different life. And my soul knew that I needed to get into Kent because that's where my partner was. And I
Mhm.
took a painful, wibbly wobbly way to get here, but it grew me and I learned a huge amount. And had I have come with all that knowledge and wisdom, I don't think I would have done as much with it. It's like having the
Agree.
answers to the maths test or being told what to write in your book. Is just not the same if you come with all of that knowledge. Whereas having to learn it, having to grow, that is the whole point. And so I just think people need more space to be able to sit with
Mm.
themselves and reflect on stuff so they can understand it.
Yeah, 100% agree. I mean, I think that we wouldn't be willing if we came with all that knowledge and wisdom. I think there'd be boredom. And I think we wouldn't have a willingness to try different things, to experiment, to be curious
Yeah.
about what else there could be. And for me, it was a narcissistic relationship that was absolutely horrific that took me on this journey. I
Mm,
don't regret that relationship.
mm,
You know, I've got a beautiful daughter from that. That was the gift. And it really catapulted me into this spiritual world where I can help others,
mm. Yeah.
right? And I think I would have just carried on doing what I believe are meaningless jobs that weren't in alignment with me, that weren't fulfilling, rather than creating a business that not only fulfills me, but helps other women to
Mm,
claim back their power, claim back their curiosity,
yeah.
and claim back their dream lives eventually once, the work is done.
Absolutely. And, people always describe what we do as woo woo.
Mm,
That amuses me, but at the same time, it's almost like a put down because first and foremost, we are a soul and
mm,
we are spirit.
yeah,
Our human is just a suit that we put on.
yeah,
And so most people are oblivious to the fact that they are that spiritual being. And that's like trying to drive from Land's End to John O'Groats without a map and without your sat nav.
yeah,
And you'll
100%.
probably get there eventually. It's like, oh, I found the sea, I'll just follow the coast then or whatever. Whereas when we've got our spirit guides, our angels, our higher self, just our intuitiveness,
Hmm.
we suddenly have all this additional help, because otherwise it's like dropping 007 in Russia and going, go and get on with your mission. It's like, yeah, but you didn't tell me what the mission is. Oh, you don't need to know, just go and get on with it. Well,
Yeah,
if you've got people you can speak to and go, what am I supposed to do with this and help me with this, you're going to get there with a lot less pain.
yeah, 100%. And you're going to clear pain and
Yeah.
frustration and all of the things that you've been energetically holding on to
Yeah.
as part of the journey.
Mm. And in the tarot deck, there's the magician, and the magician has got all these tools in front of him, which are each of the suits of the minor arcana. And that's us. We have everything at our fingertips if we just use it.
Yeah.
And there's so much more information out there now for people to be able to find their own path. Like you and I grew up pre-internet,
Yeah.
and even the books were hard to get your hands on. And we didn't have YouTube,
Mm, yeah.
whereas now everything you could possibly want, you can stumble across it on YouTube or find somebody. Whereas when we even first started out doing readings, there was loads of people that thought tarot cards were evil, and they
Hmm.
didn't talk about having a reading because it was still taboo. It was something you did down a dark alley. You didn't
Yeah.
announce on Facebook that you were going for a reading, whereas these days people are so much more open about it. So it's great that it is changing and improving
Mm.
and it's much more accessible, but we just need more people to realize that we're human and spiritual and bring the two halves together and not just think they're one or the other, because they're so missing out on a trick.
Oh, 100%. Life can be so much easier if you're connecting in with your guides, heart of creation, whoever you want to
Yeah.
connect with, whoever resonates with you. And it's like having a support team with you that is on your side, no judgment, no criticism, no anything. And humans can hold all of those energies,
Yeah.
right? Even the ones closest to you can judge, can criticize, can, say things that perhaps aren't helpful. But you've got this whole team that are there, that are ready to help you without criticism, without judgment. They're
Yeah.
there to guide. They're not there to tell you what to do. They're
Yeah.
there to guide and
Mm.
help you to uncover and understand more about your journey.
Yeah, absolutely. And I do joke quite openly about the fact that I think my spirit guides must have been in therapy for years, because they're just like, oh, she's not getting it. And they're probably still in therapy, because there are still times where they must be talking away to me and I'm like, oh, I can't hear my guides, you know. So we're not perfect. We still have moments where we're not, you know, on board with them, and they're, you know, desperately trying to help guide us in the right direction. But the more equipped you are with the different tools that are out there, and let's be honest, everybody can do what we do. We really are nothing special. Everyone talks about it being a gift, but it's not. Everybody has it. It's
Mm,
intrinsic to us. You just have to access it. Um, and once we do, we get access to so much more knowledge and information. And, you know, I worked with a lady the other day, and she'd got a health issue. And we did a Akashic Records thing. And it came up that she was having this illness because she was meant to be learning not to be so independent. She hated asking for help. She
mhm,
hated having anyone have to do anything for her. And once she realized that it is actually okay to have support and ask people to do things for her, even if it's just, can you carry my shopping?
mm,
It was like this light bulb moment for her. And her health will now start to improve because she's realized that is the lesson that she's signed up for. It's not
mm.
about being punished and, oh, you've done something bad, so have this illness. You know, people really get karma wrong. They think that karma is about punishment, whereas karma is actually about balance and learning all the different aspects of something so that you can
Mm.
understand it.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. I feel that karma is just neutral.
Hmm.
Just neutral.
Yeah.
It is what it is, and there are aspects of it that we need to learn. Now, I had a reading a few years ago, like a few years ago, probably 10 years ago, and the lady said to me, "So, your guardian angel, she's like this, tapping her foot. She's not speaking to you anymore because you're not listening." And I thought, oh my
Yeah.
God, like that's really bad if my guardian angel isn't speaking to me anymore. I mean, obviously sorted that out, but it's true. I wasn't listening,
Yeah.
right? But they're still there. They're there to support you. And I think going through transformation, going through change, trying to understand our lessons and create a happy, joyful life, we need a support team.
Yes, absolutely.
100%. We need a support team. And we've got one up there that's ready for us. But
Yeah,
also it's important to have human support as well. But know that you're not alone. You have that support and that guidance there.
absolutely. And, you know, I think that more people are open to this now, which is
Yeah.
great. Um, I think the problem is people think that all psychics are the same, all mediums are the same.
Mm,
They don't realize that a medium is different from a psychic, and that's different from a healer. They're all intuitive skills. That's the
yeah.
key thing. And you work with the Akashic records, and so do I, but we work
Mm,
very differently.
yeah.
And I've had a Akashic records reading with you, and you know, I know how different our readings are,
Yeah.
but they still deliver what you need. So I think I think from people's point of view, it would be really great if they were more aware of how different people are. You know, like one
Mm,
medium might specialize in medical things, like the medical medium, can't remember his actual name. Um, whereas another person might specialize in trauma, and another medium might specialize in, I don't know, trance stuff or whatever. You know,
yeah.
so it really does depend what it is that you want to develop as to who you need to go to for your reading or to do work. Um, and, you know, even energy work, there's a million
Mm.
different ways to do energy work. What is it that you personally need? You know, we're not all equal, we're all different.
This is it. And we can get the same results. And I think, when we're finding our own gifts, be curious.
Hmm.
Play with different things, right? I feel that that's really important, and allow your intuition to guide you as to
Yeah,
whether you want to be that medium. Is that what really connects in with you? Do you just want your spiritual gifts to be something that you use purely for yourself? You don't have to, use your spiritual gifts to help others. It probably will be a part of your purpose and your
yeah,
mission in this lifetime. But there are so many ways that we can share our gifts. It doesn't have to be through readings, it doesn't have to be through healing sessions. It can be through writing, it can be through art, it can be through so many different things. I feel that not restricting yourself is so important, and be curious and play with different things. I mean, personally, I love everything. I've got oils, I've got crystals, I've got tarot cards, oracle cards, my deck of cards. Like, I just love it all,
yeah,
right? And I will bring in what my clients need, and they'll be drawn to me because of those things. Um,
absolutely.
and of course, the Akashic records. I forgot the Akashic records.
Obviously. People come to me for different needs. And
Mm,
so my tarot readings, psychic readings, mediumship over the years has transformed, and there's more coaching in my readings. Like the other day, I was talking with a lady and she was going through a massively difficult breakup. We recognized the soul contracts about her and her partner, and her being a people pleaser and needing to learn not to do that. And
mm,
obviously there was the children that came from it. They were the compensation, if you like, the gift. And we were talking about journaling because she's traumatized from the breakup, and there's lots of emotional stuff that she's not ready to deal with right now because it's so raw
hmm
in time. And so my readings are very empowering. It's not just like, oh, when am I going to meet someone else and my problems will be over? And so I like to give my clients as much as possible in a reading to help them go and change their life
mm,
for the better. And so that's very different from another psychic who might just literally predict the future.
yeah,
I really want people to learn how to empower themselves and live their best life. And I'd much rather they were their own psychics and not even need to come to me. And
yeah,
so if I can help people get from being non-intuitive to being intuitive, and to live their life that way, I think that's my job done. I'd love everyone to be able to do what we do and live the way that we do. And it's not even about doing readings, it's just about being able to have your internal sat nav guide you through life so that you are living at your happiest. And yeah, there'll always be something that comes along for us to grow from, but it's a lot less painful when you listen to your intuition. And I don't know about you, but on the times I have not listened to my intuition, I'm like, why did I not listen? And it might only be something silly like, oh, I won't come off at that junction. I'll come off at the next one. And then I hit all the traffic that's at a standstill. And I'm like, oh,
yeah,
why didn't I come off at that previous one? It's
yeah,
not always big, airy, fairy stuff. Sometimes it's
yeah,
the little things that hurt the most. So, you know, if I listen to it, it's a lot less painful. Like the other day, I did an event and I kept feeling the need to take two card readers with me.
mm,
I took my old one and the new one that had just arrived, and there was a problem with the new one, and I needed the old one. So I
yeah,
was just really pleased that I took two card readers, even though I didn't know why. And everything was cool. And
yeah,
it would have been a right pain in the backside to be at an event with a card reader that was playing up,
yeah, 100%.
you know.
100%. I mean, I probably think, a couple of times a day, I knew that, but I didn't do it. It's like, I knew I was supposed to do that, but I wanted to do something else.
Yeah. So,
Right?
we're not perfect, we're just as,
No.
flawed as everybody else. But we do have the awareness to go, oh, yeah, I should have done that. So,
Yeah, 100%. I mean, for me, I started with Reiki and then went into tarot, and I love tarot because it can go really, really deep into what's going on. I never do future predictions.
right.
For me, tarot is a tool of transformation. It's about the here and now and what you need to know to help you.
Yeah.
And as much as I do coaching, I am a trained coach. I felt I wanted to go deeper, and that's where the Akashic Records came in
Yeah,
me, is because not only can you get the information, but you can do the healing
yeah,
too. And I didn't like sending people home saying, right, well, these are the issues. Here's a few ideas, go and get on with it.
yeah.
Right? Because that's effectively what was happening.
Hmm.
So with the Akashic Records, you can understand the soul contracts, you can understand the pain. But when you're working with the Akashic Records, the trauma doesn't come back. You
Yes,
work without the trauma, without the emotion to clear whatever it is. And that for me is just absolutely incredible. And
yeah,
then, oils can enhance the spiritual and the physical and the emotions that you're working through after this, just to, heal the body, ground it, and all of those things. So it
yeah.
all works perfectly. And this has been like a really interesting journey for me because it's been one thing at a time. It didn't all come in at once. It's been, and I have gone off on some tangents. I'm sure you have too, Tracy.
Oh God, yeah.
It's like, the odd tangent here and there. But every day I learn something new.
Hmm.
And that's really, really important. And I feel for me, working with the Akashic Records and teaching others to connect to their Akashic Records
Yeah.
is really, really important.
Yeah, I really like you see the Akashic Records as a massive tool for healing because there's so much we can bring through into this life. I mean, that's like another 10 shows. So if
Yeah.
anyone's got questions, bung them in the comments below and we'll do something else because this
Yeah.
conversation's been great. But the healing that we can bring someone so that they're not dealing with the past life hangover and the this life, because that's just way too much
Much.
baggage
Yeah.
to deal with. The healing that can come both for us as the person that's having the Akashic Records reading, the people around us, because we're connected.
Yeah.
The Akashic Records can heal through your soul group. It can go up your ancestral lines. It can heal through to parallel lives. It's just the impact is massive.
Yeah.
And I love to teach my people how to use the Akashic Records to help other people so that they can go and do what we do. So when I teach people to read the Akashic Records, it's a 2 day full on workshop
Yeah.
because there is so much to it. And you don't need to know anything spiritually to be able to do it. But I think sometimes it helps to know a few things before you come along so that there's not so much to absorb.
Yeah.
Um, but it's just so great knowing that we've got the tools to help people and to help ourselves when there's stuff going on in our lives rather than just feeling powerless and just having it happen to us rather
Mhm.
than being able to travel through it.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I mean, that these tools are there to help us,
Yeah,
right? That we're given, I believe we are given everything that we need to be able to live an amazing life, from what Mother Earth provides us to what the universe
yeah,
provides us as well. So it's all there, it's all accessible to absolutely everybody.
yeah.
Right? Like Tracy said, we're not special. We've
No,
just connected. We've just learned different things, and we've trusted in the process that's got us to where we are today.
yeah. Absolutely. And, the great thing is, all of this is free. You can teach yourself all of this if you want to.
Yeah.
But like anything, personally, I found it easier to develop with other people and bounce off of them. I mean, I probably wouldn't know that I'm clairaudient if it hadn't have been for someone else in my development circle who asked the question. It never crossed my mind to ask the question. And when the tutor gave the answer, it was like, wow, blow me down. I'm clairaudient. That took my readings to this completely different level
Mm,
because most of my information comes to me clairaudiently and clairvoyantly. And so, knowing that and understanding that for me, my clairvoyance is like a stream of consciousness through my head, and it's
mm.
different from what shall I have for dinner, but it is there and it does sound like my voice, but it's kind of like I open the mouth and it's like blah, 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 you know? And so I don't know if I would have understood that if I was developing on my own. So
Yeah.
I'm really grateful that someone asked that question and I got the benefit, and so do my clients. Because it just honestly, it's like looking at a piece of art with a blindfold on.
Mm.
It's so different. And then when you take the blindfold off and you go, oh, I can see it now. Yeah, oh my God, that's amazing. So honestly, understanding how you're wired and how
Mm.
the spiritual knowledge and information is going to come to you is an essential piece of what we do, and it will just revolutionize your life knowing how it comes to you. So I think there's a case for developing on your own, but there's a case for working with people that can help you develop. And you don't
Definitely.
have to do it all the time. You can dip in and out, like go and do some self-development and come back to a circle, and vice versa. Um, so it's there's not one path that is the right path. It's whatever's right for you, your lifestyle, your finances, etc. Because we do have to charge. We've got bills to pay. But you can do as much or as little as you want to. But something is better than doing nothing at all because of time and money. And there's never a right time. There's never enough money. So it'll just never happen. So the sooner people get started on their development path, really, the better.
100%. And it's about that support team, isn't it? When you're learning something new, practicing, connecting, having someone saying you're doing great, and someone asking the questions that you hadn't thought
Mm.
to ask, right? For me, I'm clairsentient and claircognizant. So very different energies from how
Really?
Tracy works, because I just know things and things just come out my mouth. Never quite understood that, but it just happens. And clairsentient, I feel. So when I'm doing a reading, I feel how that person is feeling. I feel the frustration. I feel the fear and all of those things, right? Which is really, really interesting.
Yeah. We should do a whole conversation on the Claires because they
Mm,
are fascinating.
yeah.
And I don't think a lot of people really understand that there's different types of clairvoyance, different types of clairaudience, and so on. So we could do a
Mm.
whole video on that. That would be fascinating. And I think that there's so much that we can share with people, and if people want to ask us questions and find us, then
Mm.
they're more than welcome. So, is there anything else you need to say before we wrap up? And how can people contact you?
I think that was very, very interesting. I think we covered a lot of different things, and hopefully, we've sparked a little bit of curiosity in you to discover something new, to start opening up some of your gifts. So we'll put all our links in the description. I think that's probably easier than saying them out, so that you can come and join us in our groups or check out our websites or whatever it may be. But please do comment, because that will help us to know what it is that you would like us to talk about next
Hmm.
time.
Absolutely. And, I've got a free Facebook group for those that are awake. And if you're watching this, you're awake. Okay. If you're drawn to crystals, you are awake. Okay. So there's no doubt if you're drawn to anything spiritual, you're awake. But if you want to know more, if you want to get curious and just kind of be in that right environment to find out more about spiritual stuff, then feel free to join my Facebook group. And I've got a Zoom development group as well if anyone wants that. So, come and ask us questions, tell us what you want, tell us how we can help you, because that's what we're here for.
Yeah. And we love it. We
Yeah,
love it.
we do.
Fantastic.
So, thanks, guys, for watching. I hope you found it as great as we have, and we'll plan something else and come back with something else.
Ciao for now.
Bye.